before the cross, the significance of sin was that it separated us from our Creator. And now after the cross, the significance of Him taking away our sin, forgiving all our sin, is that it has given us total victory over sin. So we don't need to live our lives according to what am I going to do about my sin, because of His finished work on our behalf. I want to give you a couple of scriptures that proves this. That is, if you believe in the scriptures. Romans 8:3 says, "For what the law could not do, in that it was weak through the flesh, God did it by sending His own Son in the likeness of sinful flesh. On account of sin, He condemned sin in the flesh." As that man, as the human being, Jesus Christ, the man that God became, He condemned sin. I couldn't condemn sin in the flesh. I'm not God in the flesh. He could do that. And then in 1 Corinthians 15:56, he says, "The sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law." That's why He gave the law, to crush us, to show us that we don't function according to law, that we can't fix ourselves, we can't take away our sin. Only God can take away sin. That's why you can't forgive like Him. You can't give your life to take away someone's sin. You can only acknowledge that someone who sinned against you has sinned and that they are forgiven eternally by the eternal God. So that's the only way we can forgive. He goes on to say in verse 57, "But thanks be to God who gives us the victory through our Lord Jesus Christ. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that your labor is not in vain in the Lord." There's so much to say there. I just want to focus on steadfast and immovable. Basically the same thing. He says, do not be shaken. It's kind of like the psalmist said this a lot about, don't be shaken, don't be moved. Always abounding. You know that word, the abundant life. We can be abounding in His work, the work of the Lord, not yours. You still do things, but knowing that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. You do things, you have mixed success, you struggle, you fail, you succeed, but it's not in vain if it's in the Lord. How are you in the Lord? You are in the Lord by trusting in that finished work. That's why you can have that abundant life, because He gave it to you. It's all His work. And now He invites you to work along with Him as He creates new life in the world, as you tell this truth to other people, to their salvation. In Jesus' name.